which should be nice and easy. Famous last words. Crack! And it hit the floor, and I thought, oh, that's the end of the YouTube then. Probably the wrong way to go, but give it a try anyways. Hey guys, welcome back to DMAC Customs on the YouTube, which is me in my garage on the Area 51, just for a change. Well, had it changed last week with the old Oilers charity auction sort of thing that got, but yeah, so back on the Area 51, splinters already. Been doing a little bit of die grinding this morning, like trying to take out a bit of some ugly weld I did inside the engine mount kind of towers, so yeah, got to finish that stuff up, and then hopefully we'll get the rest of the welding done on the top side of the chassis and the cross member, fix up that crooked captive bolt, and fix up the coil mount holes and get this descaled, de-rusted and into some of that rust fix on Duplicolor. Not sponsored in any way, so let's get at it. Start with getting the splinter out of my thumb. Okay, so if you watched the last chassis video on the old Area 51, I was descaling and stuff down the back there on the back half of the chassis, and then I decided to come up here and do some welding with really poor results. Ground it out, did it again, ground it out, did some of it again, and it's okay. It's not as nice as I would like. I just couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong last week, so hopefully this week I'll kind of be able to get a little bit more dialed in. I mean, this nice little weld here, I did that months ago. That needs a little bit of a blob taken off the end there, but then I did this absolute butchery last week, so go figure. Did some practice on this here and kind of got, you know, that's nice enough. That one there is a little bit proud. The wire speed was a bit high, but the current was a bit low, one of the two. Yeah, so I don't know. But anyway, before I kind of get too far, there's a couple of little bits of welding underneath that cap there that I forgot to do last week. So I'm going to do that, get both sides up to speed, and then I want to make a top plate to go on top of these mounts, just to kind of dress that up a little bit, maybe do like a speed hole, and I might have a go at TIG welding that just to add some more inexperience to the mix. But so hopefully, yeah, it'll come up alright. Sometimes I have quite good results with TIG welding, other times I don't. Same with MIG welding, to be honest. Gas welding, arc welding, whatever, average. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to start with I'll get these, I've got to do a little bit of welding up in here, just inside of that little bracket, and then yeah, we'll get into some other stuff. Got to do that cross member stuff. Yeah, then I'm maybe, I don't know. We'll make it up as we go along, just for a change. Okay, so 2 minutes in, ran out of MIG wire. So got to shoot into town and go and get another roll of MIG wire for the old Migolator. What a pain. Wish I'd known that. I was in there yesterday and didn't even think I was getting low on that, but anyway, better go and do that and then I can carry on. Okay, right, back. MIG wire. Picked up a couple of little wire brushes as well, like these little ones here, just because my other ones were all kind of stuffed and I saw them, so I bought some of those. So get into it, carry on welding what I was weldering. Hopefully all going well. So it's probably proper welding gauntlets since I've got them, eh? Weather's holding out as well at the moment, so got the old body out on the driveway. Just keep an eye on the rain. It's supposed to rain today. It's been raining all week, like horrendously all week. Could turn the gas on. Not a good start. Okay, so I've been through and finished welding up the stuff that I want to weld up on the, for now, on the cross member and stuff like that, till I flip the chassis over. Welding hasn't really got any better this week. Put a new tip in and everything, and new wire. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I used to be better than this, but shit fighting. Anyway, moving on. I've got it to a point where it's okay, and it's just really kind of a second pass anyway. It's already welded, but it was just seemed a little shallow, so I've just kind of like buttied it up with some big fat uglies. Don't know how managed to do that. So anyway, what I've got to do now, I don't know if you can see that, but I managed to get that like way crooked when I welded that in. So I'm going to straighten that up, and I'm going to drill and tap a fourth bolt. I didn't have enough room underneath to actually have the nut and bolt kind of as I've done them, so I'm going to drill and then tap into the plate for the cross member. So let's do that. Cut that thing off for a start. I'm doing it. Yeah, that's why I got to do it. I've kind of gone in on an all angle and munted up all the thread on that, so I'll cut that nut off for a start and then see where we go from there. Fresh nut and bolt. Should be a bit closer, do you reckon? Too close? I know. Helmet. He's now pointing in the right direction. You better. Okay. Done. Alright, so that's that bolt squared up. Now I'm gonna drill and tap. Can I? Is there enough room in there? Let's have a look. I was thinking of tapping into there, but it might actually hit in there. So I mean, I might end up maybe do another one there, or is 3 enough? Could I get a nut and a bolt behind that? I don't think so. I don't know, I need to sweep up all these die grinder filings and then have a lay on the ground and have a look under there a bit closer. So I'll just quickly do that. Alrighty, so I was thinking of putting a bolt through here, but it's too high now, so what I'm thinking now, just don't mind all this, just ignore that, is putting a bolt kind of like halfway down the side, so, and then tapping it through so it ends up kind of in here, this thing, if that makes sense, inside the cross member. Just to get a 4th one in there. Probably don't need it, but I feel like I probably should, but I actually might leave that until I flip the chassis over, and I'll just do it when it's up the other way. It's way easier than trying to do this on my, you know, like laying down trying to get to that. I can do it the other way. I'll be able to do it with heaps better visibility, and that would be the smart thing to do. So I'm going to do that. I'm not going to fight it upside down, I'll fight it up the right way. So that being said, I now have to make just a little support gusset for this, which should be nice and easy, famous last words. And I'm going to make some little pieces to go on the top of here, and then I've got to weld up at least one of those 4 holes on there, and same on this side for the old coil bracket tray. When I did this, I did it under the car, upside down with the motor in the way, couldn't get in there properly and made a bit of a mess just for a change. And so yeah, I think that top hole's out on that side, and then there's on this side here it's one of the holes as well, but I can't remember, but I'll figure all that out. There's a bunch of other holes in there. I feel like I should probably weld up some of these old redundant holes that I don't need anymore. What's that? There's an old rivet. No. Before I do that, I have to kind of clean it all up and make it kind of tidy. Just clean steel. I've got to get clean steel. Yep. So what am I going to do? I'll do that gusset, do those top pieces for the engine mounts, and then get into it. But before, I need to find a bit of steel. It's got a hole in it. Needs a bit of 5mm. It's a bit munted. What did I use that for? This looks like 6. There's marginally nicer piece. It's already been welded to something at some point. But something like that, just I'm going to cut a little triangulated piece and weld that on. Sorry about that, the old compressor kicked in, forgot I had it still switched on. Just got to get myself a bit of templating material and there. Get enough to do both these little jobs. Not sponsored by Chevy Export at all. There it is. Alrighty, so I mean this has got heaps of strength in it, but I just think, you know, for keeping the old cert man happy, I'll just put a little triangulated gusset, something pretty small and simple. Get a snip there. And then maybe just sort of through there, maybe, I don't know. Something like that. I have to chop that corner off, get past my big boogery weld, and chop that off there, like that. So just something like that, just to, you know, kind of, it won't go anywhere. I'll do it like that, just like in there, nice and simple. Hopefully. Right, cut this out of some metal. Bit of metal in my template. Pity that angle's not quite right, but that's alright. I'll just cut it anyway. Let's trace around that. Cut that out. Okay, so here's my little gusset. I've done it at a 5mm flat bar, same as that. That's only 3 or 8. That's 5mm, which is just shy of a quarter. So I thought, I don't know why, I've just had it in my head to do it in the same kind of gauge of steel as the main bracket thing. It's overkill, I know, but I've done it now. So MIG or TIG? TIG, easier to clean up my mess when I really cock it up. MIG, faster. Used to be better at it, not so much now. TIG it is then. Alright, if I can hold it in place with a magnet, or can I attack it whilst holding it? Might be able to. Give it a try anyway. Sweet, it worked. Right. Take the other end. Down just a little bit. Yeah, it's tricky trying to do that upside down welding with the TIG. Close. And that's when the fight started. Okay, update. Got my little gusset on there. It's a little bit of undercutting in there, but on the whole, it's like way better than my MIG welding at the moment. So I don't know how to deal with that undercutting. I seem to always get it when I'm TIG welding, get enough heat to get a kind of fast puddle. I always end up kind of cutting into base material. So don't know. Amateur hour here, so not going to go delve too much into that. Next up, I'm going to make a template to triangulate my engine mounts, make them look a little kind of pretty. At the moment they look a bit rare, so yeah, let's get into that. Alright, got to be pretty careful because this is like supernova hot, MIG welder hot, TIG welding hot over here. I can feel it radiating off that shock tower. So anyway, what I'm going to do, this is quite hot too, I just plugged up a couple of little pinholes in here with the old TIG. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm coming from here, which I might draw a little line on there, and then through there, and then we'll do a speed hole in it. Cut that out, see what it looks like. There you go. So it's probably a bit long. If I go to about there, slice that off about there. Ignore that hole that I made, draw it on there for my, and yeah, about there I reckon. Just a little cap. Actually both sides are slightly different, I think, because the motor is, no, both sides are the same. Just ignore that. Alright, if I go here. Right, so I cut a couple of little squares like that. Still working. The old GoPro just fell off my little GoPro stand and took a complete header. Crap! and it hit the floor, and I thought, oh, well, that's the end of the YouTube then. But no, looks like it survived, hopefully. So let's find some steel. Back in the old scrap drawer again. Problem is I've got a heap of core 10 here in here that's now mixed up with all this stuff. I think that's mild. Pretty sure it is. Maybe more square a bit. Nope, no good. Yeah, that's mild steel. That I think is core 10, which is different. Higher tensile sort of stuff. Probably be alright, but I just want to use mild going on to mild, so I don't know what the grade for mild is, but anyway, there's my piece. So I might just actually measure this off and cut two squares as square as I can get them, and take it from there. Well, it's looking like these are 55 millimeters square, so if I can cut two of those 55 millimeters square, we're good to go. Over here, looking at my boobs. Fifty-five. There. So cut those out and we'll be back after this cutting out break. Okay? Little crisscross to get my centre. I know. Get a punch. Centre punch. And a hammer. Speed holes. I'm going to drill the speed holes in before I weld them on. I think that's the right thing to do. I don't know why I'm sort of second guessing it right now, but I just sort of had a thought. It's like, should I do this now? Yes. Start off with a pilot. How big a speed hole do I want? About 20 mil? Bigger. Try 20 mil, see what that looks like. Yeah, I reckon that size will be alright. Primo. Okay, raining again, just for a change. Pretty much ready to rock and roll with these. Tack these in place and then sort of weld them home. So that's my plan, you see, is to just have a little thing on there like that and just sort of try and dress up the top of that engine mount, and it gives it a little bit of sideways strength, like maybe, I don't know, but hopefully that will just tidy them up, and hopefully I can do some nice little TIG welding on there and just kind of make them look a little bit more pretty, if you get what I'm saying. Because at the moment they're just a bit, I don't know, like that. They're on a slight angle, and I've got these big ugly welds and that in there, and big ugly welds down the side. So I just want some nice pretty little welds for a change. So let's get into that. Getting a bit crowded in here again at the moment. The old having to bring the body back in. Had half out the garage, so it's not quite as wet as it got last week. Once I've welded these on, I'm just going to weld up. I think there's one hole to weld up on each of those things, and then get some wire wheeling and stuff going on. Freshly sharpened my tungsten before I start something new, because I'm pretty sure I dipped it before. I use the gold tip tungsten. I can't remember what it's called, but the red ones are apparently like radioactive and stuff like that. So I went for the gold ones, so they're not radioactive, so I can sharpen them up without too much fear. I don't have a dedicated grinder for my tungsten tips, tungsten for my TIG. I just don't have one, so I just use my angle grinder with a flat disc on it. I know that's probably the worst thing you could do, or a bad thing you could do, but that's what I do, and probably not going to make my welding any better, but I don't really make it any worse. So. Anyway, enough of that. Let's tack these on, helmets on, I don't blind myself again. Gas is on, tigger's on. Can I tack these by holding it in place? Let's see. Whoop. Should have really got this. Okay, let's go. Just put a little tack down the other end. Probably could have made these slightly longer, but too late. Okay, let's have a go at this. See if I can do it with a knife. Sitting on the nerve on my wrist. Not great, and we'll have to go over that again, but carry on. Okay, so GoPro battery went flat. Yeah, kind of not too bad. Getting better. Torch is getting really hot and the battery went flat on the old GoPro, so I thought I would just have a little cool off period, as it's pretty humid as well. So yeah, so what do you reckon? You reckon that kind of makes the mounts look a bit more, maybe? I don't know, could maybe do another bit of a clean up pass on those once it cools down. I'll go up the sides and that first, and I'm trying to decide whether I need a little bit more oomph on the torch. Gotta have that down, otherwise it messes with my garage doors for some reason. But yeah, so I'm wondering maybe just a little bit more kind of heat, just push it hard and fast. Probably the wrong way to go, but give it a try anyways. Light over here keeps triggering my helmet. Let's see what I'm going to do. Try something. Alrighty, so welded those on, tagged them on. This side came out nicer than the other side, kind of. I kind of had to grind this bit back and give it like another pass, just kind of melt it all again. And I did some weird little pattern, I'm not really sure how I did that. It's kind of like a horseshoe thing, like when you're MIG welding, but I'll just leave it. It's welded and a bit of wire wheel and paint, and it'll just be like a second glance type of thing. Anyway, I keep forgetting about this thing here. I've got to cut that out, clearance that, and tidy this area here up and then do those holes. So I'll cut that out. Stopped raining again, by the way, but too scared to put the 51 body out there because it'll rain again, guaranteed. I'll put it out there. Okay, so clearance that little thing out, just ground that out. Now I cut a little channel back in there because what I just kind of ground a lot of off was the original welds for welding that part of the cross member on. So I've cut a little kind of groove in there, so when I weld it I'm kind of going to bury it into that groove just to kind of get some weld metal in between the metal, you know, and I'll endeavour to try and do a nice weld with the MIG. I don't know how I'm going to do it, we'll see. Might be lots more grinding yet. Okay, so one pass and relatively successful, except for these bits here. I was just trying to like put some stitches in here, but all the rusty crap coming out from the join kind of makes for a bit of porosity. But for a weld, you know, redoing that weld, filled that groove up that I cut and laid a fairly nice little weld. It's a little bit proud, but that's okay. I'd rather have it like that than I don't know, undercutting or whatever. So happy with that one. Don't know why I haven't been able to do that for the last 2-3 weeks, but much happier with that one. Oh god, it's frustrating, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Got to grind up the bit that all the porosity in that there, and then I think oh those bloody 4 holes. Yep. Anyway, gotta sort those out. Oh. Alrighty, so a few months back I endeavoured to set these up on here when the body was on, the motor was in, stuff like that. Managed to drill all my holes kind of, well not all of them, 1 out of each 4, 25% of my holes I drilled on the piss. So the holes don't line up. So just determining which holes I need to fix, and it is those 2 will line up, that one there, so I've got to weld up that one. And on this side, those 2 line up. Oh, actually I might have to do both those 2. I'll do both of those front ones. So more than 25% of the holes I drilled I got in the wrong place. So it's 37.5% of the holes I drilled I got in the wrong place. Anywho, that's alright. I might just give them a bit of a waller out, give those 2 a bit more of a grind up, give them a waller out, get some clean steel, and I might use the TIG to weld those up. So, because I always find if I weld up holes and then try to re-drill them with the MIG, I just have a shit fight trying to drill the holes again. So I'm going to endeavour to try and TIG this shitty, rusty old chassis frame stuff. Ugh. Hey, right, welded up those holes on both sides with the TIG, and seemed to be successful and much nicer to kind of clean up. But I only got like 1.6mm rod or 1mm TIG rod, so I was folding it in half and kind of feeding it into the hole, and that seemed to work quite well. Like I said before, I think I need to get some heavier TIG rod, 2mm or something for doing bigger stuff. Mind you, it's only a little wee inverter 1 amp thingy pulse thing, and the handle gets really hot, like it's not water cooled and stuff, and because I'm slow and useless, it takes me a long time, and then of course everything gets hot. So but anyway, back to the task at hand. I had these drilled and tacked to bolt on, but I'm thinking I might actually put some riv certs in there, because there's not a lot of thread. You know, this is it. This is how thick these chassis are. They're like lucky if they were 2mm, so there's not a lot of bite in there. So yeah, I've just talked myself into it. I'm going to drill them out, put riv certs in there. Way to go. Punch and hammer. Punch and hammer show. Kind of like a punch and Judy show, but it's a hammer, not Judy. Yep, alright. Take those off again and then drill them out. Hey, right, okay, so while you're away, I squirted a little bit of black etch onto those holes that I'm going to put those riv certs in, just so there's some kind of paint barrier around that edge underneath the head of the riv nut thing. Also, just kind of welded up the other side of the cross member, like underneath. Show you. That bit there. So I did that while I was waiting for that to dry. Now I can get the old riv nut done. All set up ready for the size that I want. Everything. Look at that. It's a pretty simple little device. Really, really handy. You just screw them on there. Put them in the formerly drilled hole and squeeze them up. Don't squeeze them up like to the moon and back, because you can actually, especially the aluminium ones, you can kind of rip the thread out of them. Ask me how I know. Then yeah, that's it, just like that. So I'll just go carry on, do the rest, the other 7 of these. And hopefully my coil brackets will fit in the right place. Alrighty, look, see, I haven't tightened that one up. That one there is quite close to this body mount thing, so I'm just going to have to like machine a little bit off that back side of that bracket. But that's all good. The other side fits perfect, no misaligned screw holes this time. Yeah, so that's the final position of where those coil brackets are going to go. I know they're in slightly different positions on each side. This one had to go further back because of some steering stuff, I think was the reason for that. I'd have to go back and check, or I'll find out the hard way later. So that's those bits done. Now I've just got to take those off again, machine that little bit of that bracket, machine as in flapper disc on the grinder, and then I'm into wire wheeling. Not just wire wheeling, what's that thing called? Needle scaling as well. Before I do any wire wheeling or needle scaling, I've got to do some hydrating. It's just getting hot. kind of more humid than hot. Still pretty rusty dusty in here, and still quite a bit gets up. Yeah, your nose. Well, descaled, derusted the top half and welded the stuff that I wanted to weld on the top half. That wasn't that pretty, but the paint, it'll make it look prettier, hopefully. Whew, gee. Right, have a bit of a clean up, sweep up, and have a drink. And then I might get some of that rust converter stuff on this front half. And then, weather permitting, push the body out, flip the chassis over, push the body back in, do the underside. Right, clean up, let's do that. Alrighty, so where was I? Hot, bothered, dehydrated. Just finished dusting off all the dust with the air gun and wiping it all down and stuff like that. So I'm ready to shoot some old rust tricks on there. Not sponsored in any way, by the way. But if you want to duplicate, if you see this, brother up. So we're gonna get into this and squirt some of that around. Having trouble stringing words together. It must be lack of hydration. Yeah, glad to have a lot of this stuff done now. It's a lot more little things checked off the list. Out of water. Oh well, let's get into it. Alrighty, so that's that stuff on there, sort of drying off. It's got a real freaky greeny tinge on the old Heights front end, where it's, you know, black on the stuff that had the surface rust, but it gets this kind of greeniness going on down there. It's quite interesting. But that's it for today. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get back out here and get the black etch on here, and then I'll once that's kind of dried off enough, I'll be able to flip this mamma jamma over and start doing this all over again on the underside. There's only a little bit of welding left to do on the underside of the gearbox cross member, and a couple of little bits on the front cross member, I think, and then it's just, yeah, descale, wire wheel, end up looking like this again. Spray the etch stuff on there and the rust kill stuff, and then the black etch. So till tomorrow. Goofy, awkward smile. Okay, so it's the next day. Still raining, been raining. It was raining about 2 minutes ago and it seems to have stopped for now. Again, hopefully it'll stop for a little bit longer because I want to push the old body out onto the driveway so I can etch prime the top side of the chassis with the old black etch and the old crappy little spray gun. So that's where I'm at. That's what I want to do. Do I take the punt, push it out there now, or do I wait and see if it rains again? Decision. Alright, so rain's holding off for now. Got the Area 51 kind of half out the garage, that's how optimistic I am. Let's get some black etch on this thing. Well, I think the old bomb truck needs a bit of a wash after all of that wire wheeling of rusty, dusty stuff. That's right, it's just dirt and it's just a bomb truck. But anyway, back to the task at hand. Etch primed, next stage, got to let this paint cure off, or let this etch primer cure off a bit, sort of harden up a wee bit before I kind of can then endeavour to try and flip the chassis over onto the other way so I can get to all the stuff that I want to do on the underside. Not too fussed if I kind of mark up some of, you know, like, yeah, painting that, flipping it over and stuff, because it's just in the etch primer at this stage. I'll be able to kind of touch it up again as I get it ready to actually do the final satin black when I flip it back over to the top side. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so far looks a lot better now, I reckon. Then all kind of scaly and rusty and crap like that, starting to look like something. could just see that He-Man action there, flipping that chassis over all by myself. Like, anyway, got some work to do, descaling, stuff like that. Let's get at it. It's the first time kind of getting a good look on the underside of the chassis other than lying on the floor underneath it all those times. There's a bit of pitting and scaling and stuff going on, but it's not too bad. There's a couple of cuts that I've got to weld up from when I was doing something here. I can't remember why I ended up with cuts there. I think I was cutting, oh that's right, I was cutting something, cutting the thing. Anyway, got to clean up all this mess. This was from the 4-link that was on it when I got it. That were kind of was mounted on the underside of the chassis, which made for a really high kind of 4-link setup. It was kind of unusual. Probably weld up those from this side as well. This hole here is a little bit off center. It should be more centered. It's for a body mount. Might weld that up and re-drill it, and might do some sort of tidy up on this sort of area here now that I can get to it easier. Got to finish cleaning this up and welding those plates on. Just a little bit of clean up on the cross member, descale. That's what all those holes are for. They're from those brackets. So lucky I didn't go mount and weld them all up. Clean those up, clean those up. A little bit of clean up here. Do something here. I was thinking of maybe redoing these welds in here just so they look like welds and not bad welds that have been grinded up, but as you've seen from my welding lately, I might just end up with more bad welds that look like they've been grinded up. Yeah, oh, I'm gonna put a weld on the back side of those as well. The bump stop bracketry there, just do that. Rain's holding off for now, so I suppose we'll get at it. Not sure where to start, welding or cleaning up steel. I've got to do both, so I don't know, welding maybe. Alrighty, so update. I remember, you know, when I was welding that stuff in before, I've talked about re-welding it when I flipped the chassis, so I decided to cut those welds out, cut nice like grooves in them, and then re-weld them. So welded up that hole down the back, plugged up the little holes down there, those little slit things in there, and ground off those old mounts for the old 4-link that was on this when I got it. I don't know, it was really high, it was like a 4-wheel drive, but killed the bulk of my big batteries, so I'm gonna wait for those to charge up. So I'm gonna start descaling and getting that sort of side of things underway on this back half before the rain comes back. Sound like a plan? This shouldn't take as long because it's really just the underside that I've got to hit with everything. There's some pretty scody old underseal body stuff there. That comes off real easy though with that needle scaler. So into it, let's go. Alrighty, so haven't really got that far because I keep killing all my batteries for my grinders and my drills and stuff like that. So while they're charging and whatnot, I might, well some of them are charging, I might kind of move ahead and finish welding up these gearbox cross member plates and the bump stop things down the other end, and I think that's it. Yeah, but I'll do that anyways. Okay, hopefully my GoPro still goes because I dropped it off its thing again and managed to break the little handle thing as well, but so far it looks like the camera survived. Update, other than the whole GoPro falling on the ground thing. Finished kind of welding up these things. They don't look too pretty at the moment, but they'll be alright once they've kind of been wire wheeled and painted. Did the welds on the bump stop mounts, and then just run a couple of new big fat ugly butty beads on the underside of the cross member, just to put a bit more into it, because I don't know, probably should have left it alone. They looked nicer, but they were a little bit little. Now they're a little bit big. So anyway, bit hit and miss with the old welds on that last little batch. I was kind of like rolling along quite good on a couple of things, and then just yuck on a couple others. So did that one there 2-3 times. Ground it out, did it again, ground it out, did it again. God, it was painful grinding them all out. Anyway, so carry on. I really would like to get this into the rust converter thing today, but I really got to get a wiggle on if I'm going to do that. Well, that's all the wire wheeling and wire brushing and stuff I'm going to do on this for now, I think. So it's going to have a bit of a sweep up, then I'll get that rust converter stuff sprayed on there. Oh. Once again, humidity is up. It hasn't rained though, so that's good. Alrighty, but yeah, I'm looking mighty good at this point in time. Filthy, sweaty, grubby, but progress. So that's the old that rust converter, rust fix stuff squirted on the old chassis as it stands at the moment. So let that go off, and then get some of the black etch squirted on there too. Maybe today, weather's still holding out, I might go and have a bit of a tidy up the stuff, and maybe quickly do the lawns before it rains while this is setting up. Got to do it. Okay, right, go do that. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, lawn's mowed, weed eating done, and it's hotter out there than it is in here. Been half that time looking for my sunnies. They weren't on my head, they were on the floor behind you there. But this is cured up enough now. I think I can hit it with the old Etch primer, black Etch, and make it all black. Once you go black, then you never go back, so they say. Probably cut that bit out. Yeah, so let's get in there with the old Etch primer. Might have a little rest first, because I've only literally just put the lawnmower away, so I'm sweating like a sweaty mamma jamma, whatever that is. Hey, see, I'm the seagull whisperer as well. Well guys, all cleaned up and showered and whatnot, and I don't think I did a bit of a video after I sprayed all that, but there it is, all in Etch primer now and ready to pretty much spray some satin black over the top of it. I mean, it won't look much different, so that's pretty much it. Managed to spray a little bit of paint in these bits in here and whatnot, and yeah, I'm so glad that's all done, because that was a job that I was kind of like really dreading, because it's so dirty and dusty, and now that it's summertime here in New Zealand, even though it's been raining for about the last week or two, I'm just glad it's done. And still a couple of little things to do. Still got to drill those holes for that last bolt, and I'm gonna drill some holes for the, what do you call it, the lower link bar on the 4-link, so I can move it up if I need to. And but I've got to get a big enough drill bit for that. I haven't got one. It's like 16.5 millimeters, whatever that translates to in, it's 5/8 or something like that. But yeah, that's it for this video anyway. So this will probably come out just after Christmas, so I hope you all had a good Christmas and looking forward to having a good new year. It's been a weird couple of years, we all know that, or 3 years pretty much, with all this stuff that's been going on and all the crazy political and stuff. Anyway, I won't get into that, but as always, thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, get onto the subscribe button and just hit it. It's free, won't cost you a thing, just your time, and well, that's it really. Hit the notifications bell if you want to get notifications when a new video comes out, little updates on the old Area 51 project, and got some stuff to do on the bomb truck. The fuel gauge is acting a bit weird. So till next time, take it easy and peace.